Thank you, Secretary. We're going to start our questions now, and I'll start the first round here. You're undertaking the largest reorganization since DOE's inception, at the same time that you're managing DOE's largest influx of funding. So it's a double investment. So if you can help us understand why these organizational changes were necessary, how you all came about the changes that you're making, and did the reorganization have any impact on the budget increase for the DOE this year, which means were you just trying to match up to the money that was coming in? And what are the hiring implications of infusion of funds are you running into? Yep. Some challenges there. So if you can just give us a little overview of that.
Thank you for the question. So historically, as you all know, the Department of Energy has been a place for research, development, some small demonstration. What the bipartisan infrastructure law does is complete that spectrum and allows us to deploy and do large-scale demonstrations in technologies that the research and development side has been working on. So it basically takes DOE from the lab to the street. So what we want to do is to make sure that this budget really causes that bipartisan infrastructure law investment to be effective. You know that infrastructure law funding, that $62 billion, is over 5 years. So we are making sure in the DOE budget on research and development that we're able to complement it. So for example, making sure that we have the continuous research on hydrogen, even as we are going to do demonstration projects and hydrogen hubs. We have to continue to do the investment in the research and development and learn from what is happening on the street so that it can be reported back to the labs and improved upon. That's true with all of the technologies that you have authorized and funded in the bipartisan infrastructure law. So that's one thing. We have to make sure that it is implemented well. And so we've identified positions that we must beef up on inside of the Department of Energy. For example, we haven't done large-scale demonstrations. We don't have those who are expert in managing federal projects who can, other than in NNSA and environmental management, but we need those people. But we need to make sure that we've got the skill sets necessary to implement and oversee the funding that will be competitively bid out and work through the private sector. So both on the spectrum of the new wings, I mean, we basically had one wing of the airplane, which was on research and development, and now it's balanced out with large-scale demonstration and deployment with the funding that this committee has supported and certainly that the Congress has provided.
I got two more questions, but very quick. The one, I had a chance to go to France down in Provence to see the thermonuclear experimental reactor ITER. And anybody who has ever got a chance, you ought to go. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen in my life, what they're doing. Multinational country, I mean, we're all over. We had 37 countries involved. And we have 9% investment. We get 100% of the technology that comes from it with a 9%. But all countries, I mean, you get from not only France, but you have China, Russia, everyone's involved. I just want to make sure that we're paying, and we have that built into the budget, that we're going to be paying our percentage as far as for full funding for the portion of ITER that I think it's about 250.
240.
240, okay.
240 million.
We're good there?
Yes, we are committed to doing that. And we, by the way, in order to support that, we build out the supply chain here and we send it there. So it's an obvious opportunity for us to create and build out that supply chain in the United States.
What it does, the scale of the it's incredible. What they're attempting to do is replicate the fusion process of the sun for the production of massive amounts of energy. This one, it's a commercial scale. It's about 500 megawatts. The temperature in the core will be 150 million degrees Fahrenheit for the plasma, for the energy plasma. It's just, I just recommend if you can get whenever you're doing a CODEL, if you get a chance, just stop. It's worth seeing it. Finally, I want to ask you about, with what Ukraine, the invasion of Ukraine, approving the expanded exports of the 4 U.S. LNG facilities, I think is extremely important for us. However, I'm concerned about whether there's sufficient long-term certainty for the natural gas producers and exporters to ramp up. They depend on long-term contracts, as you know. We'll go way beyond 2030. But the thing I'm saying, are we connecting and working with our foreign allies that they're going to be able to match up with the LNG terminals to receive this influx that we're sending that in that direction to try to give them the stability. And next of all, on that there, are we all making sure that we can convert that to hydrogen and ammonia as a new technology, cleaner technologies come on? So the same infrastructure, we build the gas lines here, they're dual purpose. We build the LNG terminals, they can handle hydrogen and ammonia with LNG.
Yes, part of the budget actually supports that through our Fossil Energy and Carbon Management Office to make sure that the LNG exports can be hydrogen-ready, and we're studying the materials, et cetera, the steels that are necessary to make that happen. On the first point, of the increased supply for liquefied natural gas, over 75% has gone to Europe. As you know, it's on a global market. The market has, the prices for natural gas in Europe today are over 30. I think they're 32.
Yeah, they've stayed between 29 and 32. 30.
Yeah, 32. That obviously causes supply. Long term, we've got 30 billion cubic feet of liquefied natural gas permitted, both through DOE and through FERC, that is waiting for the investment in the infrastructure.
My only thing is making sure that the infrastructure we're putting in place now, whether it be the pipelines, whether it be the transportation, whether it be the LNG terminals, whatever, are going to be able to be utilized in a multi-purpose. So with hydrogen going to be coming on strong, with the type of coating it takes for our pipelines that we need to build and complete, and all the other things. So we can move, and ammonia is great. Green ammonia is going to be great. With that, I'm sorry I went over time. Senator